All right, everybody. We are back again. Thank you, everybody, for the comments that you've been sending us. We are very, very grateful, and we want to thank everybody that we're doing this series with Achala ji, and Namaste Achala ji. Welcome again, and it's been so fascinating. I have so many people who wrote to me saying that they have loved this initial thing that we've started with, the mantras, the Beeja mantras, for these, and they love the presentation that you're doing, and they're learning a lot. So thank you very much, Achalaji. I'm very grateful, and I want to thank from the bottom of my heart that you're doing this with us. So are we doing Bharani today?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, great. So please take it over from here, Achalaji.
Okay, so I will share my screen now.
Sure. Yeah.
Share screen. I'll make it full screen. So today we are going to do Bharani Nakshatra, and as we can see on the picture here, Bharani is connected with two mantras, short E and longer E. So Im and Im, right? On these two petals on Vishuddha chakra. So we are still talking about the nakshatras connected with Vishuddha chakra, throat chakra. So the mantra for Bharani nakshatra is Om Im Im Bharani Nakshatraye Namaha. Om Im Im Bharani Nakshatraye Namaha. Om Im Im Bharani Nakshatraye Namaha. So Bharani Nakshatra, I was thinking a few days ago, because in a way all of these nakshatras that are connected to the throat chakra, they must be in a way also somehow connected to the element of ether. And as we saw with Ashwini is about this very fast exchange of energies, obviously. And Bharani is particularly interesting here also, actually, because as we know, the deity of Bharani Nakshatra is Yamaraja. And his great scribe is Chitragupta, the one who's holding the Akashic records. So the records that are stored in Akash, in the ether element. And that's why it's even said in some parts that really Bharani, that these Akashic records that they hold, of course, everything that ever happened in the past. Every little record is there, but in a way also a blueprint of our future is also stored there, because ether element is in a way beyond all elements, beyond time, really. It's just ever present because the time, the space, everything is happening in the ether element itself. So it's somehow very special that also this nakshatra is connected with Yamaraj. And another thing that I found particularly interesting, that this chakra, throat chakra, is very much connected with righteousness. In general, even the part of the body, the neck, is connected in righteousness in psychosomatics. And I even seen that many times, that people who have a lot of these assumptions in mind, or they feel that something is not fair, that life is not treating them in a fair way, they will actually have a problem with neck, and it will really hurt them. And even Paramahansa Yogananda say that this chakra, throat chakra, is connected with Yudhishthira out of 5 Pandavas, because each of them represents one of our chakras. And again, Yudhishthira was the son of Yamaraj. So it's a clear connection here with Bharani. And I think that this connection between ether element and righteousness is kind of very important here, because it's kind of like a grounding element also to this ether. Because ultimately it's like the most spiritual element out of all of them. And this most spiritual element, it's always somehow aiming to come back to balance, to come back to harmony, to harmonize everything, to balance everything. And hence this connection very strong with Bharani Nakshatra, in my opinion. But there are also some interesting things about this nakshatra. So I took a few roots of Sanskrit verbs here, which start with the word E, short one, and longer, E. And there is not so much of them at all, like these really, really short roots. But we can just go very quickly through each of them. So the short one is E, to send, Ish, to desire. And this, on the other hand, shows also quite clear connection with Venus here. Because on the other hand, what makes us really conditioned in this world, what is really actually making these Akashic records at all? These are our own desires, which are actually driving us to make certain actions, for certain thoughts to appear, for certain words to be spoken. And this part is actually very beautiful here. I was always fascinated with Bharani Nakshatra due to that, because the deity is here Yamaraj, and the symbol is Yoni. So every desire has an end. Every desire has a consequence. Even like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, if you want to be in the cycle of birth and death, you will always experience desire, happiness, and suffering. Because whenever we expect something, suffering just must come. And this is what Yama stands for. And his twin sister, Yamuna, on the other hand, is something totally else. It's not about binding anymore, like this Yamaraj with noose in his hand. Yamuna is more about connecting. So using exactly the same power of attachment to actually reach the supreme, really, through the devotion. And also we can see that longer ihi here, some other verbs are to go, to move, and to be eager. So again, these are the verbs that are quite connected to the power of desire within us, which really, I think, for most of us, it always starts first on the level of the mind, on the level of the element ether, and only then slowly it manifests in the matter.
It's very interesting, Ashalaji, that you mentioned about Chitragupta. I just wanted to add something. This is very beautiful, because whenever you start discussing, I get so many thoughts. This is how I am. I'm just like a student learning from you as a guru. And interestingly, the word Chitragupta, which means, literally, if you translate it, it's secret picture. Chitra means a picture, and Gupta means secret. So it's very interesting to see that Chitragupta was actually the accountant who used to keep scrolls of your account of what you have done. Every event in your life is actually is stored somewhere, and it's very interesting that you're mentioning about etheric archives, or what we call as Akashic records. And Chitragupta, no doubt, is actually maintaining this log. And interestingly, what you see is, if you have Bharani there, and right opposite, you typically find that there is Chitra, the nakshatra of Chitra. Just the first two padas of Libra is Chitra. And you see some, there's the diagonally opposite is Bharani Nakshatra. Not exactly diagonally, but I see. And this is very, very fascinating that you're talking about, how if your throat chakra is, if there is blockages there, and it's interesting you're mentioning about the pain in the neck, So it's very fascinating that you're bringing these things. And also you mentioned about the symbology of yoni, which is interesting for me, because, and then there's we've done certain videos on Bharani where we said that if you look at all the rivers, okay, the origin of the rivers, they look like a yoni, because that's where the water glacier comes, and that's where from all the, you go to any of these, you go to River Nile, and you see where the water, the River Nile goes into. So you can find this triangle, inverted triangle sort of shape. And so it's very interesting that, because Yamuna actually, or Yami, that's her real name, it's Yama and Yami, or Yamuna. She, Yama is all about restraining, but Yamuna is about the fluidity of that. And that is why you see it's connected to Yamuna, and the Shakti is called Apa Bharani. Apa means water. Bharani is, the bearer. So it represents the womb also, which actually holds the, the fluid where you are actually nourished and before you grow. So it's Apa Bharani is, it's very, very interesting to see this. So thank you very much. I mean, please go ahead with this. I'm just loving this series.
But this is very interesting what you say, Dr. Paiji, that Chitra is exactly opposite to Bharani. I never really thought about that, but it just came to my mind right now that it's so beautiful because the Shakti of Chitra is again Punya Chayani, so collecting this good karma, right? So collecting these good efforts. And I was also all the time thinking, when I think about Yamaraj and Yamuna, Yamaraj, we associate him more with the one who actually punishes us for the, let's say, not so good deeds that we have made. And Yamuna, she has garland of lotuses, of pure deeds, of deeds full of love and devotion. So this is really, really beautiful, actually, how it's all connected. And that's here the last slide that I have to share now. So basically speaking, it's just taken all of that information together. So as we know, the ruler of Bharani Nakshatra is Venus. So the ruler is connected to heart chakra. And Bharani Nakshatra dwells in Vishuddha chakra, because here are her Beej mantras. And then we see that Bharani Nakshatra also resides fully in the sign of Aries, which is connected with Manipura chakra. So again, Bharani will in a way have the flavor of all three of those mostly. And when we look at exact padas of Bharani, of course, it will add a little bit more flavor, and it will give some more specific image of as to what Bharani Nakshatra can really give us. And I think that's really all from me for this session on Bharani Nakshatra. And thank you so much, Dr. Paiji. It has been really inspiring for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Achala ji. Just one question I had before we finish this. Is there a logic behind the four padas? You know, why is first pada Ajna Chakra and second pada Vishuddha? Is there a pattern that you can follow?
Yes. So basically speaking, I should have written this here probably. So what I'm doing, I'm looking in which sign in Navamsha the pada is falling, and I am taking, basically speaking, the chakra from the sign.
That perfectly explains. Thank you very much, Achala ji. This is great. And I think our viewers are going to appreciate that. If you see the first video that we did, and the alignment you have seen with each of those, rashis, so I can use that as Navamsha rashis, and then that's beautiful. So thank you very much, Achala ji, for doing this for us. So thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.